The King's Prophet. Chapter 5. Contact. Work had been slightly better the last 2 days. He'd finally figured out Luna's very poor organization system, though Moxie had been trying to fix it, and asked Blitz if he could simply restart it so that he might work better. This had meant that he at least had something to do while the rest of them were out on missions. He'd taken to laying all the papers out on the floor before sorting them into piles. Invoices, paid, pending, overdue. Hit requests, sorted by date of request placement so that the oldest ones would get looked over first. Bills, pay stubs, timesheets sorted by person, though Luna did not fill hers out at all. He'd started doing it for her with the same hours he entered for himself. He had also figured out that he could just look up Visago's contact using the IMP database, and had sent the parrot an email that morning. Good morning, Prince Visago. I understand that it may be your wish to align yourself with the rest of the Ars Goetia and cease all contact with me, and if that is the case, please know that I will respect your wishes and refrain from contacting you again. However, if this is not the case, and you will forgive my boldness, I do have one request of you. I have been experiencing some less than pleasant side effects post the removal of my magical abilities. It has resulted in a rather intense and persistent pain. I know that we are far from friends, but I do hold you in great esteem and would very much appreciate your time concerning this matter at your earliest convenience. Prince Stolas Goetia. He hit send before he could talk himself out of it and went back to his sorting. After he finished with his piles, he moved on to sorting them into subsections and then placing them all back into the filing cabinet the correct way. He'd found more than one overdue balance and sent reminders off to the clients to pay them, and then set about tidying the waiting room, unable to sit still while he waited for any calls or emails to come through. He hoped that with the money Blitz had insisted on paying him, he'd be able to get a cheap phone soon so that he might be able to keep reaching out to Via without inconveniencing Blitz whenever the uncontrollable need to at least try reaching out to her overtook him. The loud chirp of an incoming email startled him into dropping the broom he'd been using to sweep up the needles from the Sinsmas tree. He approached the computer apprehensive, hoping it was not yet another request, sincere or otherwise, for IMP to kill him. He hadn't actually told Blitz about these yet. He knew that he would be furious, remembering the incident in the diner all too well, so he decided just not to mention them for as long as possible. It wasn't a lie if he wasn't asked about them, right? He ignored the emails and then deleted them promptly each time. Inbox 1 unread. From Estrella Escarlata at hellmail.com. Querido Stolas, it is wonderful to hear from you, mi amigo. I was muy preocupado sobre where you had disappeared to. Bueno, tu mensaje found me from the business of your imp, that you used y manipulaste in some fashion. I admit I am intrigued sobre la conexión between you. You must tell me el comienzo y toda la historia. Necesito el chisme. En todo caso, lamento mucho tu sufrimiento. Let's find the time to meet and see what we can figure out. I thought to email you from mi correo privado so as to keep this from my staff for the time being. I have taken the liberty of deleting your original email. Text me. 666-555-7672. Hasta pronto, cariño. Just Visago. Well, shit. He honestly hadn't expected any kind of response, let alone one so friendly, perhaps overly friendly, and prompt. He supposed he should take it as a good sign and be grateful, but his anxiety only seemed to increase at the thought. How would he even text him? He had no phone. He couldn't very well get away with using Blitz's phone while keeping his issues to himself for the time being. Fuck. Okay, it was fine. This was fine. He could just email the prince back and explain that he did not yet have a phone. Seriously, he barely knew this man. Why was he speaking to him like they'd been friends for years? He shook his head, trying to refocus on the task at hand. Prince Vasago. Vasago. Unfortunately, I do not possess a textable device at this time, but I greatly appreciate you taking the time to email me back. Perhaps we could continue to email until I acquire one. Perhaps we could arrange a meeting in the upcoming days. Stolas. Vasago continued to be quick with his responses, and intimate in his form of address, and before he knew it, the date was set. On Friday, December 23rd at noon, they would meet at the Graveyard Gardens, just a few blocks from the IMP building. This way he could easily make up an excuse about running for coffee and lunch if Blitz and the rest of IMP happened to still be in the office rather than out on a hit. He had it all worked out perfectly. Except for the part where Blitz wanted to come with him, of course. Well, that's not sus at all, Stoles. Why would you go out and get lunch alone when the last time we went anywhere in Imp City someone threw a chair at your head? Stolas spluttered in response. Well, I will need to be able to go out alone eventually, Blitz. Might as well do it somewhere close to the office so that, if I need to, I can just come back here. Blitz looked thoughtfully at him for a long few seconds before he shook his head. I don't like it. Stolas groaned. Well, then it's a good thing I wasn't asking your permission, then, isn't it? He winced as soon as the words were out of his mouth, and looked away, not wanting to see the hurt he knew was crossing the imp's face. There was a horrible moment of silence before Blitz just scoffed and stood up, letting his chair scrape roughly against the floor. Fine. Blitz, wait, I didn't mean... The door to his office slammed shut so hard it shook the ornaments on the tree. Stolas clenched his beak and wrapped his arms around his midsection, but made no move to follow after him. There was no point, and after all, he had a meeting to get to. The park was indeed very small and mostly empty. Stolas paced anxiously near a bench, feeling grateful for the quiet. The occasional person would stroll past with a small child or baby in a stroller, but other than that, he was blessedly alone. He'd gotten there early. He didn't want Vasago to think he had chickened out, an even greater offense to Goetians. But now that he was here, he was beginning to realize what a mistake it had been. It was giving him far too much time to think. What if Vasago didn't come? What if he did come, but it was all some elaborate plan to humiliate him even further? Or worse, what if Vasago came to help, but there was nothing he could do? Stolas, baby! It is so good to see you so alive! And before Stolas had even registered his arrival, Vasago was wrapping his arms tightly around him. Is he hugging me? Why? Yes, I am alive, Stolas mumbled, with a beakful of fluffy red neck feathers. His own arms stayed rigidly at his sides, unable to process the sudden and bewildering level of physical affection. When Vasago finally pulled back, his hands lingered, resting on each of Stolas's shoulders, and he held him at arm's length, looking the owl up and down. Stolas squirmed. He had selected this outfit carefully, and despite the nervous flush that ran through him at the scrutiny, he still thought it looked good. He wore a sleek black button-down top with little golden stars along the cuffs, and heather grey slacks, long and loose, covering his bird legs while giving him a touch of fluidity that was oh so subtly reminiscent of the capes he so adored. He had wanted to look as close to his former self, without drawing unwanted attention, as possible, but considering his very limited budget, he knew it didn't quite hit the mark. Muy guapo, Vasago winked. Stolas almost laughed. He most decidedly did not look good. He looked thin, and he had already been thin, and he looked tired. His feathers were dull and dishevelled from lack of preening oil. The usual glow of his eyes had dimmed. The newly uncovered white pupils were ever present and jarring, and punctuated with the dark purple bags underlining them. The outfit, it's giving. It's very you. Thank you? Vasago grabbed Stolas's hand and led him over to the bench, and they sat. This was so strange. Of course he knew Vasago. They'd collaborated a number of times on astrological charts for the Sins and other such projects, but they'd never been close, in any sense of the word. Stella had always called him a shameless slut, a tease, and a whorish pillow-biter, despite her constant assertions that he was an ugly twig. In recent months he'd mostly convinced himself that those were more of her lies to torture him with. But what if she were right? Maybe he really was a flirt and a tease, tempting them or influencing their thoughts or something. At least he knew it wasn't intentional. But maybe that's what Vasago thought, that he was available. Had Stolas given him reason to feel like they were at this level of intimacy? Oh, don't get shy of me now, baby. Dígame todo. Tell me the story. I want to know todos tus problemas. Let me help, querido. Stolas blinked. Oops, he hadn't meant to get quiet. Right, yes, of course. Well, I do hope you will agree to keep this between us. The last thing I want is to jeopardize the safety of IMP or invite a deeper investigation into the legitimacy of my confession. You understand, yes? Vasago gave him a serious nod and took Stolas's hand in his own. Your secrets are safe with me. I truly do just want to help. Stolas let out a breath. I lied. Well, obviamente, I knew that much, Vasago quipped with a snicker. The bird was being so fucking shady. Like, since when does he want to go anywhere by himself? Fucking weird. And since when does he pick up lunch? And why was he being so damn shifty about it? Fucking shifty sus bitch fuck. Not to mention Blitz had absolutely noticed the way Stolas had been limping, or how he would rub at his long-ass bird legs, massaging the muscles when he thought no one was watching. And bitch, he was watching. Or the sharp, hissy inhales he kept hearing coming out of the owl. He just figured that Stolas was still having some troubles coming off his meds or some shit. He kind of gathered that Stolas had been taking a lot of happy pills, so that made sense, right? Whatever, none of this fucking mattered. Blitz was the boss. He was totally within his rights as the boss to be searching through the company computer, which he was doing right now. Absolutely fucking fine. It was his computer. So what if Stolas was the one using it? That shady bitch had it coming. Inbox. 0 unread. Trash. 39,087. From Estrella Escarlata at hellmail.com. Who the fuck? Hola, mi querido Stolas. Who's calling my birdie queer? It is wonderful to hear from you, mi amigo. Excuse me, my what? I was muy preocupado sober my ass, you fucking drunk-ass bitch, where you had disappeared to. Bueno, tu mensaje found me from the business of your imp. Your imp? Bitch, he's mine. You used y manipulaste in some fashion. I admit I am intrigued sobre la conexión between you. You must tell me el comienzo y toda la historia. Necesito el chisme. En todo caso, lamento. What the fuck are all these fucking made-up looking ass words? From Estrella Escarlata at hellmail.com. Sí, of course. Reunámonos a la Graveyard Gardens. Oh, I know where that shit is, fucking bitch. It's usually mostly empty. Perfect to birdnap my fucking bird. And it's right around the corner from your little imps. Who are you calling little, you no-dick having bitch? Oficina. It will provide us un poco de privacidad to talk. Does the 23rd work for you? XX Vasago. Oh, hell no. The email had a link to the park a few blocks down. What the fuck was this? Who the fuck was Estrella Escarlata, and why the fuck were they emailing his bird? Blitz downloaded the first translation app he could find, and it was doing a fucking shit job. Muy preocupado sobre equals very worried about? Yeah, fucking right. More like muy fucking horny. Y manipulaste equals deaf masturbate. He didn't even have to search that one. En todo caso, lamento mucho de sufrimiento. Anyway, sorry you're stuck with that asshole. Fuck. He was going to kill this motherfucker. He knew Stolas wasn't ready to be a thing. He knew that, but still, how could he let the owl just... Fuck. He stood from the chair so fast he knocked it back into the wall, leaving a dent. Ah, well, he'd fix that later. He didn't even try to finish the emails. Instead, he just bolted out of the office and booked it to the garbage gardens. He would not lose Stolas again. Not to this random fucker wanting to fuck him or some bullshit plot to take him out. It didn't matter which way. He was not losing him. It had all come pouring out. He told Vasago about meeting Blitz as a child, about meeting him again 25 years later, about the book and the deal and that horrible night at Ozzy's. He told him about his decision to give Blitz the crystal, about almost dying at the hands of Stryker and the weeks in the hospital alone, about that day spent in L.A., the two of them there for the love of their daughters, how everything seemed normal again, and how he dared to hope. And then the full moon, the litany of apologies to everyone but him. The party whose sole purpose was to celebrate a mutual hatred for Blitz, and singing his very soul out to a room full of strangers with Blitz's intimidating ex, and weeping and dancing and kissing some guy whose name he never even knew. And then nothing for weeks, until he was sat upon his sofa, wallowing the way he had been for days, weeks even, flipping through channels only to see. He paused there, swallowing hard, willing himself to keep his composure. That was enough. Vasago had, after all, witnessed the rest. But throughout it all, Vasago had nodded and gasped and hummed in sympathy, his eyes full of compassion and concern, offering silent comfort until Stolas ran out of words. He hastily wiped at his eyes, belatedly realizing they were wet, and waited for Vasago to say something. Anything. Puta madre. Stolas burst out laughing at that. Yes, that just about sums it up, doesn't it? Vasago joined him in laughing for a few moments, and when it died out, he looked at him again, really looked at him, and said, "Oh, Stolas, pobrecito." And any leftover laughs morphed into heaving sobs in an instant. He was looking at him, seeing him. Has anyone ever seen him? Vio won't see me. She won't answer my calls or even read my texts or emails. I've lost her. She's gone. It's okay. She'll come around. That's what Blitz says too, but y deberías escucharlo. Listen to him. He sounds smart, and he's been doing a good job cuidándote. He cares for you. Vasago lifted Stolas' chin, looking into his eyes. Does he know about the pain? Stolas winced. Does he even know you are here? Stolas pulled his face from Vasago's hand, avoiding his eyes. Vasago clicked his tongue. Ay, Stolas. Mírame, you know he would just want to help. I know he would just want to help, and I've never even spoken to the chiquito. He cares for you. ¿Por qué no dejarlo? Why not let him? He's done too much for me already. I don't... Vasago scoffed loudly. Ay, infiernos abajo, you better not be about to say, deserve him. The tears welled anew in Stolas' eyes, and he crumbled. The red bird didn't even get the chance to wrap his arms around the owl before he was ripped off of him and thrown to the ground, leaving Stolas stunned on the bench as two blurs of red went flying toward the pavement of the walking trail beside them. What? Vasago squawked. Blitz growled. Stolas blinked. Fuck.